So we're always browsing through the AI agent store website, keeping tabs on what's happening.
Yeah, it's essential these days. Things move so fast.
And something that stood out recently was this Google Agent Development Kit, the ADK.
Ah, yes, the ADK. Definitely worth looking into, especially with the push towards more capable AI agents.
Exactly. So let's try and unpack it a bit. What is this framework really about?
Well, fundamentally, it's described as a modular framework.
Modular. Okay, we hear that term a lot. But what's the practical upside for someone, say, wanting to build an agent?
Right, it's not just jargon. Modularity here means flexibility. Think building blocks.
Hmm.
Instead of one giant piece of code, you have separate parts for different jobs like agent communication, using tools, managing memory, that sort of thing.
So you can pick and choose what you need.
Precisely. And you can swap components out later, maybe if a better tool comes along, without wrecking the whole system. It's meant to simplify the whole process from, concept to deployment and management.
Makes sense. Now, it says it's optimized for Google's Gemini models,
Mm-hmm.
but also model agnostic. How does that work? Are you tied to Google or not?
That's a really interesting aspect. So, yes, it's tuned to work well with Gemini, leverage its strengths,
Okay.
but the architecture itself is designed to be open. It uses interfaces, things like Light LM is mentioned.
Like LM?
Yeah, it basically acts as a bridge. It lets the ADK talk to other major models, think GPT-4o, Claude, even Amma.
Oh, wow. So you really aren't locked in.
Not at all. That's a significant advantage. You can choose the best model for your specific task, or maybe switch if a new breakthrough model appears from somewhere else. Future-proofing, essentially.
Got it. So who should be paying attention to this? Who is the ADK really built for?
Good question. It's primarily aimed at the folks actually building and deploying these AI systems.
Like developers.
Definitely AI developers, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, machine learning engineers, the ones getting models into production, software architects designing larger systems that use AI, research scientists exploring new agent capabilities too, and automation specialists looking for more powerful tools to handle complex workflows.
So if you're working in any of those roles, or aiming to, this ADK is something to track.
Absolutely. It's part of the next wave of tooling for AI development.
Okay, let's talk autonomy. The site mentions a high level 83%. What does that figure actually translate to in practice?
Right. That 83% figure suggests the agents built with ADK can operate with a fair degree of independence,
Meaning?
meaning they can make decisions, figure out steps, and execute tasks using the LLM's reasoning without constant hand-holding.
But developers still have control. It's not just unleashing them.
Exactly. That's key. It allows for dynamic LLM-driven decision-making, but within bounds set by the developer. You can define structured workflows step A, then B, maybe run C and D in parallel, loop back.
Okay.
But it also supports more adaptive behavior, where the agent figures out the how using something like Gemini.
Yeah.
Things like managing tool use autonomously, keeping track of its own state, even coordinating with other agents.
Coordinating with other agents, so multi-agent systems.
Yes, that's one of the core features, orchestrating multiple agents working together.
Can you give some examples? What could you actually build with this?
Think about automating complex processes that currently need a lot of back and forth between people or different systems.
Okay.
You could, for instance, build an agent team for a complex research project. One agent gathers data, another analyzes it, a third summarizes findings, and they all communicate and pass work along via the ADK framework.
Interesting.
Or maybe customer support automation, where one agent handles initial triage, another looks up specific information, and a third escalates if needed. It's also geared for various deployment options, from your local machine for testing right up to Google Cloud using Vertex AI or Cloud Run.
And it has evaluation tools built in.
Yeah, that's important. Tools for testing and monitoring how well the agents are actually performing their tasks, so you can refine them. Plus, you can integrate custom tools, extending what the agents can do beyond the basics. Connect them to specific databases, internal APIs, whatever you need.
We saw some chatter online, like on Reddit. What's the early community vibe?
It's still early days, of course, but a couple of things seem to be resonating positively.
Like what?
The command line interface, the CLI, is getting praise. Developers seem to find it makes the build and debug cycle easier. That's always a win.
Definitely. Anything else?
And that flexibility with language models we talked about, using Little LM to support GPT-4o, Claude, and others alongside Gemini, that openness is seen as a really big plus, gives developers choice, avoids vendor lock-in.
Right. Are there negatives mentioned too?
Well, like any new framework, there will be learning curves, maybe some rough edges initially. The documentation depth, specific integration challenges, these things often come up early on. More opinions are out there, naturally, both positive and negative.
Okay, so wrapping this up,
Mm-hmm.
for you listening, what's the main takeaway here regarding the Google ADK?
I think the key thing is that it represents a serious effort to provide a structured, yet quite flexible, platform for building more sophisticated AI agents.
Uh-huh.
The modularity, the model-agnostic approach, the focus on orchestration and evaluation, it's a comprehensive toolkit.
In that high autonomy level.
It points towards building agents that can genuinely take on more complex tasks, potentially freeing up human experts for higher-level strategic thinking. It's not just about simple automation anymore.
So it seems like a potentially powerful tool in the AI development landscape. Something to watch.
Definitely. If you're building agents or thinking about leveraging AI for complex automation, it's worth investigating further.
And if you want to explore more about this or other agent technologies, you can always check out aiagentstore.ai.
Good resource for staying updated.
Indeed. And as always, we appreciate you rating this discussion.